So, good evening to one and all. We are here to celebrate Independence Day in advance. This is 75th Independence Day, and I am in conversation with Sahana Ahmed. Before I begin our conversation, I'd like to express my utmost gratitude to each and every soldier protecting our nation. I come from a family with members who are serving our country's defense forces, including myself. How can I possibly express my gratitude to all of you for giving a part of your life to allow us to keep our freedom and sense of security and safety in a world that's obviously so chaotic? There are no words in the dictionary to accurately express how amazing you are. Brave is not nearly enough. Courageous doesn't do it. Gallant, heroic, and even patriotic are not enough to describe your character on their own. But all of those words together describe you quite well. My heartfelt thanks and gratitude would never be enough to replace the time you have spent away from your family, enough to compensate you for the experiences you have endured, not enough to make you up for the physical and emotional strains caused by your service. I know that your job requires a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work and dedication. None of that comes easy. It all requires a choice and effort. You have chosen to fight against the enemy to support those around you and to strengthen our country's freedom. No one else can or will ever know exactly what you've endured, what you will face in your future. It's your story. You are like a single thread woven in the flag of freedom. You are important. You matter. You are appreciated. Thank you for choosing to serve. Jai Hind. This is Indu Funch. Good evening to one and all. I am founder Stories Matter, counselor and a teacher trainer. We are in conversation with celebrated author Sahana Ahmed. Welcome, Sahana. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me on this show.
Thank you. A little bit about Sahana's introduction and her book. She is a novelist, short story writer, and poet based in Gurugram. She's the author of Combat Skirts, the book we are going to discuss today. The book is about friendships and life choices. Her work has been published in India, the UK, the US, Australia, Canada, and Singapore in prestigious publications such as the New York Times, the Pinch Journal, the Hindu Business Line. Sahana is a graduate of Institute of Hotel Management, Kolkata, and holds a master's degree in tourism management. She is currently the national president of the Rural Tourism Council of WICI, Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So, Sahana, let's begin with your first question and tell us about how did the idea of Combat Skirts happen?
The idea of Combat Skirts actually came from the commissioning editor of Juggernaut Books. So I had written a short story for them. It was called Zinat Aman is Not a Soldier. It was a love story and it was based in a military special train. So I was told that all the editors at Juggernaut they loved the story and they wanted me to write a full book with a similar backdrop. It had to be a love story. And in 2016, there were many books about army wives, but not many about army daughters. And that's how I decided to write Combat Skirts.
So tell us about the book. You have really talked about hostel life. You've talked about it's more of a girly book. When I was reading, I could get back to my college days and all those, the conversations in the room and how you would want your bed to be in a particular position and how people can fool you about haunted places. It was really, really fun. It was more like a cinematic thing. So if you had to choose actors for the characters, whom would you cast?
Wow. This book, I have been told by almost everybody who has read it that it's great material for a movie. So in fact, the book is being represented by the Story Inc. It's the leading book to screen adaptation agency in the country. So hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed, the book should be picked up by a top producer. So I was saying that the story is a good vehicle for the launch of Star Kids. So I'm not sure if we should be speaking about nepotism, but I guess it would be a great launch for Stargate, or maybe a bunch of Stargates.
Actually, I'm sure it can be a very hit movie because it has everything that a movie requires. All the best. I'm sure we'll get to see the movie very quickly because it has funny, witty, hilarious, quirky, classy, and romantic. There's quite a lot of romance which a teenage girl would love to. I could go back to MBs and all those novels while going through it.
One of the interesting things is that my father's friends who are all very senior in age and service, they've loved the book. And most of my Amazon reviews have come from men. So even though it's a very early book, men have loved it too. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, of course, because it takes you back to your teens.
Yes, I've been told that it made them feel young again.
Yeah. Some of the things where you've mentioned about the safety pin thing and traveling in the buses and from the safety of the cantonment zone to the chaotic city, it is all, everything you could imagine yourself going in the college bus. Especially my daughter used to narrate all these incidents of how they would keep themselves safe, and nowadays the girls do carry this pepper spray instead of safety pin. And she used to tell me, Mama, I've learned all these words which are vocabulary during my travels only. So I could really relate with every scene. Okay, so moving on to your next question. You are a celebrated author, of course, all across the globe. So what does literary success look like to you?
So when I started writing full time, one thing I understood very quickly is that I shouldn't expect too much money or even fame for that matter, because in India, the market for creative writing is not very mature, I would say. People who are already famous, people who are celebrities, Bollywood people, sports people, or politicians, when they write books, those books do well, but the rest of us have to struggle. However, I would say it has been a great journey, but I do not look at success by numbers, by money. Success to me is when a reader comes back to me saying that they could really relate to my writing, and also if the story that I've written or the work that I've done can stand the test of time. These two things matter to me more than anything. So when a reader tells me that they are keeping the book for their 5-year-old to read when they grow up, or when they tell me that they've read the book 13 times, that's what matters to me the most. I can't expect a bigger reward as a writer.
Yes, that I can truly vouch for, because when you are reading it, I am 100% sure you can never get bored. It's like there's so much of humor and wit in it. As you've rightly mentioned, that any age group, of course, you never mind reading such a light-hearted book. So, Sahana, you are a poet, a short story writer, and a novelist. So, what is the most difficult part of your artistic process?
The most difficult part, I would say, is to shut out the noise. As a writer, you have to hustle. You have to somehow stay relevant. And for that, you have to be active on social media. Now, I keep saying this, that it's easy to write, but it's difficult to be a writer. So that's, to keep the purity of my vision, to keep the integrity of my thoughts without letting other people's opinions, influence what I want to do. I would say that is the most difficult part. And I'm only able to feel happy about my writing when I know that, okay, this is unalloyed. This is what I wanted to do, and I'm not doing it to impress anyone. To preserve my voice as a writer is my primary duty, I would say, towards my own craft.
That's wonderful. That's the whole idea, actually. So generally, it's observed that most of us as humans, we do not have right words to express ourselves. Even I now, even if I am talking to you, somewhere we have, we lack that expression. So, what was an early experience where you learned that language had power, and how important it is to learn language to express yourself so beautifully the way you've been able to do through this book?
Thank you. So, my earliest memory of reading a book which made an impression on me was my father was posted in a very remote village in Manipur. It was on the Burma border, and I had no other kids for company. So I don't know where I discovered this grade 2 moral science textbook. It was probably published in the 50s because all the outfits the people wore in the illustrations were all very 50s, mid 50s kind of thing. And all the stories are very simple. Do not lie, do not cheat, all about human
You
values.
should not. That's very incidentally, I'm doing some work of similar kind, and it's like you should not do this. You should always do this. So this
And
is
you
how
should respect your elders and you should eat
you should
vegetables.
abide by all rules.
So that book somehow made such a deep impression in my mind. It
Oh,
was
thank you for bringing this out because I'm suffering from this trauma of the language, because every day I sulk and I say, oh no, this is not the right way to give it to children, especially. You should do that, you should do that. And if they will take one child and then they say this Rahul was an obedient child, caring, humble, he has all the humility. So everything only one Rahul has. So this is how I feel you need that expression while writing.
yes, so that's why I've grown up to be such a nice human being.
This really makes it interesting. So, apart from your formal interview, I would want you to give us some your childhood, anecdotes, some interesting stories during your postings. Like all Fauji kids have a lot of stories with them.
Too many to narrate.
Yeah, which our viewers, like civilians, won't know. I also like one more thing about your book was like mention of that CSD, that when auntie comes to pick her up, she doesn't forget to her trip to CSD to collect her toothpaste. So this was like, oh, all Fauji's, we look for a house which is close to CSD.
Yes.
Our lives revolve around that CSD thing. So you really brought the entire, aroma of, I would say, Fauji culture.
Thank you so much. That's really heartening to hear because when, like I told you, the brief given to me was to write a Fauji story. But then while writing, I felt it was going more into friendship territory and whether the Fauji essence was coming out. But then when the book was released, it was released, by the way, on Army Day in 2018.
Oh,
And the initial reviews all said stuff like, her army grooming is showing through. And I was like, thank God.
One more thing I really like that my mom would tell me the moment I started holding tray that whom to serve first, so that hierarchy that we follow. It's really wonderful. Any kid can really understand. So they should be given this book to read and understand. This is how you are supposed
How nice. Yes, please.
how to serve your guests.
Yes. So a lot of the book has drawn on my real life. But I have been asked whether Adil, Kabir, Faraz, they are real.
They are all real.
So sorry to say, but they are all imaginary and fictional.
That's such a hard thing.
Recently, somebody bought 20 copies of the book to gift to all the army ladies. And yes, so somebody asked, please ask her, where is Adil posted right now? And I'm like, sorry, but Adil doesn't exist. He's too good to be true.
That reminds me, my daughter always says, Papa, those poster boys that you have on Air Force calendar, where are they? She says they are there. So she says, I never get to see them in cantonment area. They are only on calendars. That's just like your character Adil is like anybody's heartthrob. And that reminds me, like my marriage to Fauji is because of this Fauji serial only. I got so floored with Fauji life. Oh my god, they have this and they have this. And this is exactly where girls feel that Fauji life is all about.
One girl has been influenced to marry a Fauji after reading my book, so I can understand.
Okay, so let's move to our question. Since you are on Stories Matter today, share your favorite story, quote, whatever you wish to share with us. At least 2, 3 important ones. The ones which are your favorite. Now I'll keep mine.
You want me to share quotes?
Quote and a story. Quote.
Okay, sure. One of my favorite quotes, and it doesn't just apply to writing, but generally to all artists, is something that Picasso said. It's learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. That's one of the quotes I really love. And there's another one, which is simple English is no one's mother tongue. It has to be worked for. People think that writing simple language would be easy, but it's very, very difficult to reach that point where your language is refined enough to be simple.
True that.
So, may I read something from the book now?
Yeah, of course you can, and we would love to hear it.
Thank you. So this is an extract from a chapter called The Boy from Mayo. I could understand Mom's excitement. She had been trying to fix me up with Faraz Mirza Beg for years now. Faraz was the younger son of Mrs. Sheila and Brigadier Shahid Mirza Beg, ABSM. Apart from the Ati Vishisht Seva medal, Beg uncle had all sorts of commendation cards. He was an excellent catch. I mean his son. My union with FMB was going to be a bed of roses, at least on paper. If we were to ever have fights, Sheila auntie was a counselor specializing in marital discord. My mother's plan was foolproof, marry Faraz. Except that love is the enemy of reason, or in my case, the lack of it. I liked Sheila auntie. I felt bad I hadn't met her sooner. She lived so close to the hostel. But I had my reasons. I had a history with Faraz. I had first met Faraz in Gangtok when he had come home from Mayo for the autumn. Our fathers were posted in the same corps and our families moved in the same circles, especially on Sundays when the ladies met for rummy and the men met for drinks. Those were long drawn affairs and the children were pretty much left to their own devices. That Sunday, it had been Sheila auntie's turn to play hostess. Mom had dragged me along to help with the canapes. One look at Faraz and I had understood Mom's intentions. To be fair, I had found him quite all right. A sure voice, the eyes of a cynic. His presence had demanded more than small talk. We were both the same age, but he was worldlier. He had asked me to call him FMB, that's what his friends called him, and I had told him I was there on canapé duty. You cook? Absolutely not. I don't know what Mom was thinking. You want to surprise her? How? Okay, so what did you have in mind? He was already washing his hands. Eggs on toast, cheese sticks, boring. Let's see what else we have here. He was scouring the pantry before I could feel properly insulted. The kitchen was big but still narrow for 2 people. I had limited myself to the spot near the sink and let him do all the hard work. He had handed me a packet of Lijjat papad and shown me how to roll them, like little party hats. Dhania, nimbu, sauf, the air had turned delicious. But I had focused on my hats. I hadn't wanted to disappoint Faraz. The salsa papads were a smash hit. Faraz had let me take all the credit, and Mom, who had been losing so badly at cards, couldn't manage to lose her grin. She was probably getting visions of Faraz serving me breakfast in bed. Before the day was up, I had learned that Faraz could whistle like a pro and play a mean game of checkers, that he liked Boris Becker and hated Bayern Munich, that he listened to Led Zeppelin and collected vintage cookies. I had learned that he could wolf down a full casserole of chicken all by himself, bones and all. He had given me a tour of the house and taken me around the garden. He had plied me with orange squash all afternoon to reveal later that the bathrooms were haunted. He had amused me. I had wondered if he was gay. I mean, I was a girl, he was a boy, and yet he was so normal. The boys in my class were idiots. They cried, "Shiv, Shiv," if a girl so much as crossed their paths. This one was different. Maybe he was so cool because he was from a boys' school. Maybe they had classes on how to behave with the ladies.
Yeah.
Before I had left his house, Faraz had asked me if we could meet again. He had wanted my opinion on some pictures he had taken. "I haven't shown them to anyone," he said. "Not even to my friends. Those clowns have no aesthetics." "How do you know I'm better?" I asked. "Look at you." He had pointed at my parrot green sweater. "Only someone with style can carry that off." There he had done it again. Insulted me, applauded me. I had never met anyone like him. I couldn't wait to see him again.
Wonderful. And I can imagine what happened next when she looked at her cupboard and she thinks that she has nothing to wear. Like all of us when we have to go out, and even every time we feel, oh, we have nothing to wear. So now when you're reading it, I'm going ahead. And I'm quite when somebody is reading or telling something, I start imagining the entire scene is so beautifully, it could be imagined, and the entire story was already like a movie in my mind. Now the moment you stopped, I could imagine now next time when they go out and they have a full day. Very lovely story, and I can recommend all our viewers, please buy and read and enjoy more. And let's move to your next question here. If you had to do something differently as a child or teenager to become a better writer as an adult, what would you do?
I would probably take my writing skills more seriously. Writing has always been very effortless for me. It has come easy to me. I don't have to struggle to find the words to express myself. So I felt इतना easy है, इसका तो career नहीं बन सकता है.
Because is it because you were an avid reader, because you read a lot? Would you like to suggest that kids or anybody who's watching, because people who read a lot are better writers of this?
I guess it was my nature, and also the fact that I grew up in jungles in remote areas where there were no other kids. I had no other company but books. And I used to read my mom's magazines a lot. Manorama, Sarita,
Shobha, Sarita. I remember all those. Or we used to read those Chacha Chaudhary, those Champa.
The first comic that I read was when I was 6 years old. I'd never seen a comic before that, and I was fascinated. It was a Motu Patlu comic. And I was like, my God, this is a different world. I've never seen something like it. So before that, I was usually into storybooks, proper storybooks. And yes, so I grew up with books, and although I never had access to libraries, because in my earliest childhood, I never even went to school. So it was all books that I just discovered here and there. Yes, I mean, lots of them were my parents' books, and I have even read things which were not appropriate for kids at that time. So yes, so I was saying that, this whole notion of a career, if you need to make a career in something, you have to work hard at it. And I felt writing तो इतना easy है, इसका क्या career बन सकता है? So I wish I had explored more opportunities or options when I was 17, 18, so that I could have, started at an earlier age, and I would have a bigger body of work to show. I actually started writing at 36 years of age. Although I was winning competitions throughout my childhood, in college also I used to win all the creative writing competitions, inter-college competitions, and I studied in Calcutta, which has some of the best English departments. So when I was winning all those competitions, I should have understood that, okay, I have talent and I should have backed myself more probably.
Yeah, I think at times you need to have somebody who can see it in you and they can instill that confidence that you have it in you. Like,
I
at,
used to take all the compliments for granted. I used to think, oh, ये कोई बात नहीं, ये तो सब बोलते रहते हैं. So I wish I had taken my gift more seriously.
so here I would want you to advise all those who are watching or may watch later that what is it if you think it, you have it in you or you aspire to be a writer as a child also, what is it that they should do?
So, I am very passionate about this. In fact, on my website, sahanaahmed.com, there is a post which I compiled with literary magazines and journals from across the world, which accept submissions by kids. Usually, you find many publications where stories for kids are published, but not many of them accept material from children. So I made a list of that, and also my daughter, who's 10 now, she attended one of my friends' workshops, and she wrote a story, and it was published in the US in a beautiful literary magazine called Little Jefferson, and then it was also published as part of an anthology this year. So even though she tells me that she's not interested in writing, again, she's very, very natural. She's a natural storyteller, but she doesn't take herself seriously. So I think that children who have a knack for writing, first of all, read a lot and read different kinds of stories, not just one kind of story that you like. Try and keep an open mind, read all kinds of stories, and
Then identify your genre.
yes, I mean that comes later. As a kid, even if you're writing rhymes with might, sight, right, even just express yourself and let your imagination run wild. Don't restrict yourself. Don't do things that are expected out of you. Like
That should and could, I should write this and I shouldn't write
yes, write for yourself and just be as ambitious as you can. Just write as crazily as you want. Have
As
fun.
I always say, like at least begin with writing your journals or writing, expressing gratitude. So get into the habit of writing and expressing yourself.
Yes, words are really powerful.
Yes, then you can at least reflect back on your day and beginning with that. And then they say that in psychology also, we say that it creates a lot of impact. When you write about your day also, you get to know. And if you keep writing and over a year, that itself becomes a, diary which can be published if we start writing it seriously. Thanks.
Yes.
I'm sure this is going to really help our viewers. And as a writer, what would you choose as your mascot, avatar, or spirit animal? Tell us.
Okay. So, probably a mouse, which can turn into an eagle and soar
Oh.
high.
Any particular reason behind it, choosing mouse?
So I think that just goes with my personality. I'm someone who's very unassuming. I don't like to be in the spotlight. I just hide. But then when it's time for me to do something, I think I'm not afraid of being myself completely. So that helps.
Okay, that's nice. That's really nice. If you can, think of, you can relate yourself to somebody. Okay, tell me one more thing. Now that I said you are on Stories Matter, तो एक अच्छी सी कहानी सुना दीजिए हमें. Interesting. And one more thing before you start. Like, do you think these stories they matter and children learn better through stories? As because this was already covered by you that you on your website are already you are holding these competitions and all. So just for this program, tell us how stories matter and what is the impact of stories in learning a language, and give us one nice little story.
How stories matter. I mean, stories, I think, are the cornerstone of our society. चाहे रिलीजन हो या पढ़ाई हो, हर चीज हमें स्टोरीज के थ्रू बताई जाती है. Our scriptures are full of stories. So stories के बगैर तो society चल ही नहीं सकती. And especially during the pandemic, so many people during the second wave told me that my book has helped them cope emotionally during the dark times. I just couldn't imagine that such a light-hearted story could have such a deep impact. So even as a creator of this story, I probably did not gauge the kind of impact it could have on me. So stories definitely matter.
Thank you. I want to touch upon that hilarious part. Explain that where is that thing comes from. It's really nicely written. Manage that about the butt and all that. I want you to speak it out before I make it open.
That's come from two parts. So my sister was a May Queen, so I used to go to rehearsals with her. All those backstage stories, gossip and all that came from my sister and also from my friends, being a Fauji kid. Almost everybody I know is a May Queen. So I had lots of inputs. Also, a few years ago, you may find this hilarious, but when I was living in Bombay, I was learning belly dancing. From a very, very well-known instructor. Her name is Meher Mirza. And, Meher Malik. And she used to say that to hold your posture, imagine, having a coin in your backside. So that's something I picked from there.
Good one.
That's where it came from. Just give me one moment, please. I'm looking for a story which is, it's called Ameen Sahib Learns to Cook. It's flash fiction, which means it's shorter than 500 words. A very, very short story. Called Ameen Sahib Learns to Cook. It's inspired partly by my mother.
Yeah.
She was now Ameen Sahib, the youngest in the battalion. The service wife, she was told, must institute a home-like atmosphere for her man and her progeny. She must adjust herself to the community as she finds it. The community as she found it was too neighborly. The men were too curious, the women full of advice, most of it the unsolicited kind. But that's how things rolled. She was in the army now. She had never learned to cook. Reputations were made and unmade in the kitchen, standards were high. So late in the evenings, she made her captain teach her skills. They started with chai, moving up the food chain one recipe at a time. She was glued to YouTube. Her girlfriends sent her pins. Sergeant Blim's drumsticks and General Haram's wings, Major Gray's chicken and Cavalier's grill. Soon, with the blessings of Nigella, she was a domestic goddess too. Her household grew in proportion to her prowess in the kitchen. Sunday to Sunday, trips were made to the regiment's store. An herb garden bloomed on her windowsill. Her travels added to her pantry. Rajma from Jammu, Kesar from Kashmir, coffee from Wood, Nilgiri tea. 2 pressure cookers, 1 charcoal grill and a food processor later, she conceived. The husband was euphoric. He started saving for a double-door fridge. However, fate had other plans. Maybe she was not ready, maybe it wasn't meant to be. The novelty of cooking wore off, monotony set in. The Mem Sahib started finding more and more reasons to not enter the kitchen. Her husband let her be. Now she's too tired to cook every day. Now she cooks only for Instagram.
Oh wow. This reminds me of my own story. I just knew one dal ek banani aati thi, mummy ne jo sikhai thi, and my husband on like housewarming mein sare station ko bula ke aa gaya, and I didn't know how to cook, and he's telling me aaj sare sham ko aa rahe hain hamare ghar. मैं was like मेरे को तो खाना ही नहीं बनाना आता, तो इनसे कोई बात नहीं, जैसा भी आता है चल जाएगा. एंड मुझे ऐसे लग रहा था, उस जमाने में ना यूट्यूब होता था ना मोबाइल होते थे, एंड आई जस्ट डिडंट नो, मुझे यही नहीं समझ आ रहा था कि ग्रेवी थिक कैसे होती है. So I was sweating and frowning कि क्या ये ऐसे थोड़ी होता है, और मैंने बना के चुप करके अंदर बेडरूम में जाके बैठ गई कि I didn't want to see anything. eating. I didn't know what chaos I had created. Though I served and nobody would say कि कैसे बनाया है. But till date, it still gives me shivers कि वो मुझे आता नहीं था. And then quickly I learned, within a month's time, I was already cooking, and within 2 months I became a good cook. So this is one thing that every Fauji's wife learns very quickly, क्योंकि खाना तो बनाना ही पड़ेगा और पार्टी भी करनी ही पड़ेगी.
पार्टी तो थ्रो करनी ही है.
Yeah, आता हो या नहीं आता हो, you learn to cook, and then the way people bounce you and paranthas you have to make for those youngsters, they are really nice, बहुत मजेदार stories हैं of our Fauji life, I would say. Okay, tell me now something about your personal, like now what currently are you doing and met your own Fauji?
How I met my Fauji? It was arranged.
Oh, I can't believe. I thought it was a purely love marriage.
No, it was arranged. So my father's colleague, he was my husband's first battery commander. So my parents were looking for a match for me, and suddenly one day Colonel Shinde told my father that एक लड़का है, सोड ऑफ ऑनर है, बड़ा अच्छा है, सो उससे बात करते हैं, लेकिन मुझे ये नहीं पता उसकी शादी हुई कि सो सैटेलाइट फोन पे उन्होंने कॉल किया तो पता चला कि नहीं, शकील की शादी तो नहीं हुई है. मुझे बताया गया कि एक अच्छी लड़की है, हम जानते हैं फैमिली को. एंड उस टाइम पे ऑपरेशन पराक्रम चल रहा था, सो पीपल डिड नॉट हैव लीव्स. सो शकील after some time he was traveling to his hometown Bhubaneswar, and he was passing through Howrah where my father was posted at that time. So my mom tricked me into going to the station saying पापा के ऑफिस चलते हैं, and वहाँ उन्होंने मुझे स्टेशन पे शकील से मिलवाया, and that's how we met.
Okay, that's really nice. And what are you doing presently? So
currently I'm very totally occupied, very busy with my work as the national president of the Rural Tourism Council of Wiki. So 1.5 महीने हो गए हैं, and we have been able to create 20 councils under us, under the national council. So सारा टाइम मेरा उसी पे जाता है. And writing अभी मैं उतना नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, but it's a deeply satisfying job, I would say, to create a network of women leaders who can promote and advance rural tourism in the country. कि ये एक ऐसा सेक्टर है टूरिज्म का जिसके बारे में लोग ज़्यादा जानते भी नहीं. एंड लास्ट ईयर जब माइग्रेंट क्राइसिस हुआ, तब मुझे भी लगा कि there should be a chance and opportunity for village dwellers to have opportunities to create livelihoods for themselves, income opportunities घर पे रह के, ताकि उन्हें बड़े शहरों में आके काम ना करना पड़े. They should have a choice. And as Indians, हम तो इतने वैसे भी भाव भगत करने में we are such experts. So I think with a little exposure, awareness, training, many opportunities can be created for especially women in villages, for them to host guests from and tourists from outside. So there's a huge scope here which we are working towards.
That's wonderful. That's really inspiring, I would say. I would love to connect. I think I was also approached by Wiki, but I haven't processed it yet. और एक last message for Independence Day from a Fauji's wife to all our viewers, and thanks a lot. It was lovely having you. Give us your last message. And there is a message from Dharna Shukla. She said, one of my favorite people. Always a pleasure to listen to you, Sahana.
Thank you, Dharna.
Thank you for joining us, Dharna. Tell us your last Independence Day message, I would say, or any message for that.
First of all, I would really like to thank you and Stories Matter for inviting me to this show. I had such a lovely time, and it's always nice to chat with you. And हर इंडिपेंडेंस डे पे, हर रिपब्लिक डे पे मैं तो बहुत इमोशनल हो जाती हूँ. I mean, there's nothing bigger than your emotions for your country. And I have seen this life that Fauji's lead as the daughter of an infantry officer, especially, I have seen the kind of hardships that they have to go through, and also this whole jazba of never saying no. मैंने आज तक किसी फौजी को ना बोलते हुए तो नहीं सुना, कभी बचपन में नहीं सुना, अभी का नहीं पता. So और हमारा पहला ओलंपिक गोल्ड इन ट्रैक एंड फील्ड भी आर्मी से ही आया है.
Yeah, we are so proud.
So
They made
ये
so proud. Yeah.
So I would like to say to everybody that please honor the sacrifices that all the Faujis and their families have to make for us to maintain this freedom and independence that we have. There is no price to be put on this. It is invaluable. And I just hope that people don't just, remember or celebrate the country only on these special days. And our independence is something that we need to cherish and protect with all we have. Thank you.
Thank you for such a lovely message. Here, I also want to contribute one thing. Being a teacher and an educator all my life, I used to feel very pained at times that our kids, this younger generation, they celebrate Independence Day and 26th only in malls, and we can't, force people to be patriotic, but at least express your gratitude for the ones who are doing so much for you. Plus, Faujis are not only about booze and parties and canteen. There is much more to a Fauji's life, the sacrifices. And this is the reason why I started with such a note, because I always feel as a Fauji's wife, as a person who's seen life so closely, that they have to make a lot of sacrifices. It's not just about the thing that's shown in movies. Either they show extremes. So one more thing, Sahana, being an author, I would want you to take this forward. Our school curriculum should teach all these things about defense forces, about the kind of work they do, because it's not there in curriculum. They don't even know when is Army Day, when is Air Force Day, what is Navy all about. So there should be at least a chapter in class 7th or 8th, and they should have a lot of exposure to these things, so that they develop that love for defense forces and they would aspire to join. Only Fauji's kids or the people who want to have a good, comfortable, secure life should not join forces. It should be right from within, that जज्बा जिसको कहते हैं ना कि मुझे देश के लिए कुछ करना है, वो चीज़ हमें स्कूल में शुरू से सिखाने की ज़रूरत है, और कहीं ना कहीं हमारी किताबों में ये बहुत मिसिंग है. So you can take up this as an author. It's my humble request to you. You write and I'll bring those stories, and together we should be the change makers. Thank you so much. It was really lovely having you. And from Stories Matter, I wish all of you a very happy Independence Day. Thank you, Sahana.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.